due to a holiday, so we scheduled it today. So it was supposed to be happened last week itself. So now somebody is joining, it seems. Okay. Today's topic will be AI and the knowledge graph. So, if somebody is aware of what knowledge graphs are, so like can say, yeah, anybody aware of what knowledge graphs are?
Yes, in a layman's terms, thoda sa.
Okay. So I'll be talking about what knowledge graphs are, and basically what is the application. Then I will tell you, I'll create a simple knowledge graph. I'll tell you like where a person can go and like use some open source graphs already available on the internet, and you can directly use it and work around, play around, and see how it works. So I'll please share my screen now. Sure. Just let me know when you are able to see my screen.
Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay. So play. Isn't. Okay. Now is it visible?
Yes.
Okay, so since our topic is artificial intelligence and the knowledge graph, I will be talking about like how knowledge graphs gives AI a context it needs. So artificial intelligence is like an intelligence generated artificially. So and we want a system to be intelligent enough to behave like a human brain. So it is completely not possible, but we try to make a system intelligent enough like it takes decision how a human brain takes. So what happens is when we take some decision, like this is when I see an object, it is dribbling, a ball is dribbling, or whatever I see, I am able to decide that it is happening the way it is done, because I have some past experience into it. I have seen things happening like that. So then only, if I have some context from the past, then only I will know what it is. Otherwise, suddenly one day, if something comes in front of me, I will not be able to recognize it, what it is, how it works, all those things. So I really need a context to determine what exactly the thing is. So this is all about like how knowledge graphs helps artificially intelligent systems to take decisions. So introduction. So for artificial intelligence to make an intelligent decision, it is necessary to emulate a context. So let's say in English, buffalo is a word. So I can make a complete sentence out of it, and I won't know buffalo, 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 buffalo. I don't know which term means what. Is it animal buffalo, or it is some name buffalo, or what it is? So if I get a context, like what person or a sentence is talking about, I will be able to recognize that, yeah, this buffalo is the animal, or that buffalo is a human being. So like that. So it must be possible to present a relationship, complexity, and most importantly the meaning of the data in such a way that AI's seemingly intelligent conclusions and decisions are sensible in the real world. So I need to relate to the real world objects. So if I say I am working in Palpex, so Palpex is an object, an entity for me. and I am a person. As a person, I am an entity. So there is a relationship between me and Palpex, that I works in Palpex. So and in generalized way, being an employee to the company, so an employee works in a company. So it is a relationship between the two entities. So every object or an entity in a real world should be we should be able to define some relationship between those, not specific to the person, just like Pallavi Khatri and Palpex, but on a higher level in a generalized fashion, like employee is working in a company. So these kind of these relations gives as a whole gives a context to an AI. So if I'm talking about a film actor, so if I'm searching about a film actor, then it is like very much obvious that I will talk about a film. So this kind of context comes out of relationships we define. So it should be possible to represent relationships and complexity, whatever present in the real world, to make AI a intelligent conclusion and decisions. So yeah. So next is the Google Knowledge Graph. So this is upfront example. So which everybody sees. So if I search about, let's say, I search about Thomas Jefferson, so I will be getting some suggestion at the bottom, like people also search for. So this particular panel is known as Google Knowledge Panel. So in this, how Google knows that if I am typing something, it will give me suggestion. Mostly, so many suggestion comes up. How Google knows that yeah, I am searching for this, because maybe in the past people have searched for it, or there is a relationship which is what it is finding. So let's say if this is the third president, so it will show me George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, James Madison, so other president also. So what is the linking relationship between all these people is the word president. So now this is how like Google will know that if I search for this, I may like to search for something else. So this is a major application of what we say a knowledge graph. So other applications are like when I talk to Alexa, how Alexa will know that I am asking for this thing. So I cannot always depend on, like, I ask Alexa search I have a database. So I hope people are aware with databases here. Hello.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
So
we are
if
aware.
if my I'm going very fast, so you can ask me in between, like slow down and all those things. So yeah. So if I cannot always keep everything in my database, saying that I have a table, I have name, I have a database, I have name of people, their address, what their occupation is. So I cannot store everything like that, and every time I want to ask Alexa, that Alexa, who is the Prime Minister of India, so Alexa will go query my database, get my data and tell it to me, yes, this is the Prime Minister of India. So it doesn't happen like that. So I cannot write query for everything. My system should automatically know, without me writing a query. System should know a relationship what I'm asking for, and it should go fetch the data without writing queries in the databases. So this is how we make a system intelligent, giving it context to the things. So this was an example for a Google Knowledge Graph. Um, Now, what is a graph? So I'll not go much technically inside it, but since we see a term graph here, I thought of telling what is a graph. So in graph we have, if you see these circles, these are the nodes. These will be entities. let's say camera, a person, a group of person, a calendar, and this like something. So you see a connecting green color line in between. These are relationship between these entities. So this is how a graph looks, and this is how a graph looks. So graph is basically the, like, instead of storing it in a database, I'm storing into some other structure, which is like smart enough to give me insights, inferences, and like for developers, this is a basic implementation of a graph. Like, it's not necessary for everybody to understand, but yeah, these objects, 1 2 3 nodes, these are entities which exist in the real world, and this green color line in between is a relationship between those objects. So let's say I'm asking for a person with the name Jeff, and I want to get what all dates he's busy, or what is his birth date. Then if I go to birth date, I might be interested in knowing the people whose date of birth is same as this person. So this is how interlinked things work. So how it looks is, so this is kind of structure, like there are so many nodes here, there are lines in between. These edges will be the relationship between these two nodes. Now what happens is, if I search for a node, uh, okay, if I search for a node, let's say a date is a node, and I want to know at that date what all persons has their birthday. Then let's say today there is a birthday of a film actor. Then I would like, it might be possible I want to know about other actors as well if I'm searching for an actor. So this is how this structure works. So instead of storing things in a database, creating so many tables and storing things, we have generalized this in form of graph. So how graph works is, there will be a node, there will be a relationship between the node, and I should be able to search things on the basis of this relationship between these two nodes. So as simple that as that. And how it is very useful, because if I take a database, it is very structured form. So I have created a table for a person, I created a table for a house, I created a table for a box, but it's not possible for me to create a table for each and every entity existing in the world. So there is a structure available. There is a structure fixed in a database that, yeah, I can have this many set of attributes. I can have this many set of objects. So in graph, it happens like, and it happens like I can add any type of data, be it a camera, be it a calendar, be it a group of people, be it a society, or be it a everything will be a entity for me. So this is a sample graph. This is a data structure, I would say, in which I will store my information. Then based on these connection, I will be fetching the information and showing on the knowledge panel here. So this is how it works. So what a knowledge graph is, it is a knowledge base that uses a graph structured data model, and they integrate knowledge and data. So what happens is, these are real world objects, events, situations, and concepts, and they are structured, like they are arranged in a way that my system will get those links and show me the information, and those decision will be like intelligent enough, so that I can relate it, like, yeah, if I would be in place of the system, I would be searching for the same thing. So mostly this thing is used by search engines as like Google. Okay. Then now, a knowledge graph formally represents the semantics by describing entities with their relationship. Knowledge graphs may make use of ontologies as schema layer. By doing this, they allow, okay. So these terms like semantics, ontologies, these things I will be covering in my presentation itself. So yeah, so what happens is like by doing like by storing things in a graph structure, I am allowing logical inferences for retrieving informations rather than applying queries explicitly to my knowledge base. So if I am writing something in a text file or an Excel sheet, then there will be some query I am firing in an Excel document to fetch my data. So every time I am not sure what my user is going to ask, so storing information in knowledge graph with the with their relationship with the other objects, it becomes easy for me to fetch the information which user want to get. So yeah, so now what is an ontology? So what is an ontology? Ontologies are the schema data models that define types of things that exist in a domain and the properties that used to describe them. So what happens is ontologies is like a person. If it is related, like I as a person work in some company, so it's an ontology. It's a relationship between two people. Like a company is an entity, a person is an entity, and the defining relationship is an employee, is a relationship which is called an ontology. So relationship between the real world objects is known as a ontology. So what ontology comprises of, the main components are classes, their relationship and attributes. Now what are classes? Classes are the real world object, let's say a box, a person, a group of people, a house. And relationship are relationship between those two objects. And attributes like a dog, dog has a black color, dog has spots on it, dogs eat this, dogs eat a bone. Those are the attributes or which are related to a dog. So these are the attributes, are the properties of the individual class. Classes are the objects in the real world, and relationships are the relation between the two objects. Okay, so there is a one example. So let's say I have a table of books. I have publishers. I have authors. Now books have title, author, publisher, year of publishing, and if it is followed by some sequel book, then it will come here. Then what a publisher will have, it will have name, city, country. Then what a author will have name and country of birth. Now a book has author, book has a publisher. Book published on publication date. Book is followed by a book. So if you see here, book, author, book, publisher, publication date, location, these are my classes. These are the real world objects. Has author, has publisher, published on, is followed by. These are my relationship between the objects. So this is a basic example of ontology which I can retrieve from this particular data which I have. So this data can be anything. Here it is books information, it can be a store information, it can be a political or a organization or an enterprise information, whatever it is. I am defining some relationship. First of all, I am picking out my object, then I am defining relationship between those objects. In the next step, I will be like here I am drawing like the same relationship which I found out here. I am drawing these relationships here, like book is followed by a book, book has a publisher, book has a author, author works with the publisher, author located in a location, and location can be located in other location. This happen in case of city and country. So and publishers are located in a location, book can be published in a year. So this kind of structure is formed from the ontologies which I inferred here from this table. So what happens is, this is a generalized unit So this unit will be replicated. So this particular author might be related to some other book as well, some other publisher as well. This location may have some other publisher as well. This location may have some other author as well. This particular year, in this particular year, there will be many books published. So if I'm searching for a book, it will show me it is published in this year. Now, since I am in this year, so I might be interested in knowing what all things happened in this year. Maybe a book publishing or a disaster happened in some country or something like that. So there will be some, these circles of this year, these are entities. These arrows are the relationship between entities. So if I have so much of data, I can map in the form of this structure. If I see here, this is one unit. If I map all the data, one data, let's say this is one data. So this particular book, this is a particular publisher, this is location, this is country, this is author, this is sequel, and this is published in year. So if I map all the data mentioned in the table 1, it gives me a structure like this. So if somebody is searching for Harper Lee, he might be interested, let's say, where he is located in. So if I go for United States, so I know these are the 3 cities in United States, because it is connected to this particular country. So now if I go to this book, I might be interested in knowing the publishing year. If I go here, this particular author, no, this particular publisher may be related to New York City, or this particular author, or this particular book. So these I have mapped all my data in a form of a structure. This structure has nodes which represent my real world entities. This structure has edges which represent my relationship between these two nodes. And this structure in all is known as a graph. Since this graph contains knowledge, it is known as knowledge graph. So it has capability to expand and purge at the same time based on the real world facts which my system is facing. Let's say some data my graph has, and it is outdated in some period of time. So there are a certain validation put into to keep on continuously checking whether my data in this particular graph is valid or not. So this is how a knowledge graph works. It is a basic example for a book. It might have hundreds, thousands, millions of relationship between nodes and entries and entities for my system to give to make good decisions. Yeah. So what happens is ontology plus my data equals to knowledge graph. So in an enterprise like us or some company, we will have let's say what a taxonomy is a naming conventions, like how I structurize my organizations, or what are the role in that organizations. That structure is defined by this taxonomy. There will be data sources. Then if I merge this ontology and this database, I will get a graph, and that is capable of making good decisions, whether in terms of revenue, in terms of sales, in terms of project management, like that. So this is also an example, like if I draw why enterprise needs a knowledge graph, this is the thing. Why a engine needs a knowledge graph, Google is the biggest example. So yeah, so this is basically how a knowledge graph works. So knowledge graphs give AI application and intelligence. In other words, knowledge graphs provide the context, the meaning behind the various concepts in your data. A knowledge graph helps the machine to understand a person is a person, and that person can be specific, can have specific attributes, or other concepts do not possess. So this is the thing. Now, what the semantics is? Semantics is like a study of languages, or what we call, let's say, there is a word mouse. Mouse can be called, like in French people call it something else. Spanish people call it something else. In Hindi we call it something else. In Kannada we call it something else. So that this study of this language and things, phrases, words, signs, symbols, this is known as semantics. So this is what natural language processing is one of its application. There are many. So knowledge graph utilizes this semantic technology in order to understand what, like if I give my system a paragraph, it will understand what all entities are there in that paragraph. It will fetch those entities. It will create or give me a knowledge base out of it, all those things. So the study or that technology is known as semantic tech. So we have certain example of publicly, yeah. Any like questions till this point?
No, 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 not from my side.
Okay. Yeah. So there are some example knowledge bases which are free to use. So I can go, I can fetch that data, I can work around or play around with that data. I can get inferences like, for example, WordNet is the one, DBpedia, Freebase, GeoNames, Yago, and Wikidata. So what happens is, like as the name says, GeoNames, it gives me a domain specific thing. so if I go to geonames.org, I will get list of all countries, all states. So if people remember about chatbot we were implementing for coronavirus, so COVID-19 AD. So that chatbot utilizes GeoNames knowledge base. So in order to extract locations, their countries, and give me accurate data, so that chatbot was using GeoNames. So we have APIs for these open source things. Uh, we can fetch data out of it, use it in any way we want. So these are the example knowledge bases which can be tried out. So now, what is the semantic technology? So what happens is, if you go to Wikipedia or something, they are written in a particular format which is understandable by the machine. If you have seen XML files, or some formatted files like JSON file is there, XML file is there. So these kind of data is machine understandable. So similarly, I have mentioned two types of frameworks here. So these two are the types, like if I'm writing a content in Wikipedia page, so I can mention it in a structure that if my machine is crawling the internet, it will fetch all these data and understand the meaning of it. So I need to write my web page in a machine understandable format. So Wikipedia and all those pages are written in the same fashion that machine understands what it is, what if it is an object, if it is an relationship. So for example, Max is a dog. Dog is a species. Max eats kibble. Sparky as well eats kibble, but Sparky is a cat, and Sparky eats my mice as well. So these kind of links, these kind of things are written in some format on internet itself, which makes easy for my crawlers to go fetch data, formulate it, and give me good insights. So these are predefined formats which can be used. So yeah. Now I will take, yeah, I have taken this Yago knowledge base, and I will show I will take one of their data set and I will show creating a knowledge graph here. So yeah, I need to stop sharing and stuff. Where I will stop. Okay. So what I did, I have downloaded the open source. If you see here, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So here I have some data sets downloaded, Yago date facts, Yago facts. So I have downloaded this knowledge data sets from the knowledge base. Those are openly available. So what I'm doing is I'll open one of the file and show it to you. So I'm using Yago facts. So what these facts say is that 50 Cent acted in this gun. This is a movie. 50 Cent acted in this Home of the Brave. So just like that, there is data of some 18,000 rows. So YouTube owns YouTube Live. So these are two entities, and this is a relationship between those entities. Now, what I am doing is I am taking one of their data set and I will be creating a graph, basic graph for me. And then I can do my whatever manipulation I want to make. So I will run this first. So what I'm doing, I'm loading my file. I am adding it to graph and I'm displaying it to run test. Okay, it's loading. Yeah. So if you can see this figure, it has 18,000 rows and it is not clearly visible, but yeah, I can zoom it and show. Okay, so if you see Abraham Lincoln is connected to Henry Adams, he's connected to United States. United States is again connected to Game of Thrones. Then Abraham Lincoln is connected to National Union Party, connected to Tad Lincoln. So just like that, I have relationship between these objects, and this is a basic graph which I can show. See. So those that file, that Yago dataset I downloaded, it is looking very messy because there is so much of data in here. I can zoom in and see what are the things. So 50 Cent, see, this is 50 Cent. 50 Cent is connected with War Engine, Before El Self-Destruct, Curtis, Charlie, whatever it is. So you can see their entity and their relationship is mapped here. And I can show the what we say. I can show the relationship as well on these edges. If I go back, this is a sample knowledge graph which I did. So I did this some months back. So what my task was, I was asked to find a relationship between Albert Einstein and APJ Abdul Kalam. So that exact data set I did not found, but yeah, one data set I found. So I found relationship between Alfred Klenner and Keith Lewin, that is Albert Einstein. So what happens is I mapped whatever data I had to a graph. Then there is a direct function. I searched for the shortest path between these two people, and Albert Einstein was the answer. So this is what inference I got from this particular graph. So there is a Python library called NetworkX, which is used to plot my data inside a graph. So this is how it works. It was a small example. I can map these as well. Yeah. So any questions on that?
Hello.
Yeah.
Pallavi, these libraries are they available online or you made them?
So yeah, which library? NetworkX. Hello.
Hello. Yeah,
Yeah.
there were some libraries that were mentioned in that code that you wrote, right?
This library, NetworkX.
Yeah.
These are Python libraries, so anybody can install Python and use it.
Okay, okay. So, what I wanted to ask is, earlier I came across that under the language R, there are a lot of libraries that you can download from the internet, available on
Mm-hmm.
Google or things like that. So, in this
Mm-hmm.
consideration, are there some things like that which can basically help you train the machine in the earlier stage?
In the earlier stage, as in, like, if I create a knowledge graph and then train it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so there are this thing is open, and you are also welcome to contribute to these things. So when these people launches a library, or then when Python comes with a knowledge base, so they come up with the system setup. So steps, they will give you a step, you can set up them in your own machine, you can train that, and you can add your valuable data to that particular library as well. So this is what a open source thing, this is how a open source thing works, that like you can also contribute to this thing.
Okay, okay, cool.
Yeah, so this was a basic example from Yago dataset. So this was a dataset with which I used. Yeah. So training your like model, or fetching data or giving some inference is purely based on what data set you have. So if you want to have good decisions, the only thing, like the most important thing you need is the correct data. So I am yet to find relationship between APJ Abdul Kalam and Albert Einstein, because I don't have that complete data. That's how it works. So there was a quote. So I haven't seen Adventure of the Speckland Band. So I haven't seen this movie, but yeah, I found this quote floating here and there. So my dear Watson, how dangerous it always is to reason from insufficient data. So what I need is the correct data. Yeah. So this is the important point. Like as new data is discovered or becomes irrelevant, my knowledge graph is designed to grow or prune automatically. So the real world changes. So it and so will make it problems in the present AI system. So the relevance of context will change, and knowledge graph is capable of changing with it. It would be practicable, if not impossible, to able to add information manually as a system needed it. Knowledge graph will have a means via inference to make connection for the newly added information. So my system should be flexible, or grow, should be able to grow or shrink or switch its context based on what is the current real world scenario. Otherwise it is of no use. Yeah, thanks. So background knowledge plus some clues gives a system some inference. This is how an intelligent system works. Yeah, that's it. Anybody?
I have a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like the relation that you found within the two people in the code, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like how are they related? Like we found the entity between them, but
Mm-hmm.
how are
Mm-hmm.
they related? Can we know that?
Yeah, we can know that. So if you see these edges, so here I have mapped only nodes. So I have printed only nodes. So I can print my relationships as well. So these things are possible here. If you see my data, it contains the relationship as well. also these are not, maybe it may be possible these are not directly connected. So like in code terms, if I talk, graphs have also various types. So graphs has directions. If graphs have directions, graphs has weights. Like if there are two nodes related to a single node, and both the nodes have same name, same relation, then how my system will know that I have to give that as an answer. So there are some weights specified to those edges, which will help my system to make good decisions. So what you ask is getting these relationships on edges. Yes, it is possible.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And anybody else? Should I stop sharing?
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, either I'm very much clear, or everything went off everybody's head. I don't know.
No, no, it's a very like this topic is very serious, so maybe everybody is processing the whole knowledge.
Okay. Yeah. So if nobody has like any query, so yeah, I can share this PPT. If somebody wants me to share some libraries, or want to try these codes, or want to try some open source knowledge bases, so they can contact me. Yeah.
Sure. Only I wanted to ask something. Um, are there any online study material that is available more on the knowledge graph? Because earlier, when I was doing a little research and I was studying about it, I did come across, and Subhash also shared some of the content that was useful. So, if you can share that, we can actually learn a little about it. And I also have some links. I can share that to you.
Yeah. Sure. We can do that.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So it looks like we're done with the session.
Yes.
Uh, Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks for
Thank you,
joining. Yeah.
Pallavi, for the session.
चलो